Hello, my name is Jimbo Ivy, and on behalf of the City of Corvallis Parks and Recreation Department, I'd like to welcome you to Majesticpiece Theatre. Over the last month, we have heard the word unprecedented enough times to last us for the rest of our lives. But this situation truly is. We have canceled dozens of performances, halted creative endeavors that have been in the works for well over a year, and generally slammed the brakes on all local performance art in our country in the name of saving lives. And the sacrifice is real, in terms of dollars, in terms of hours, and in terms of passions put on hold. But we are theater folks, and as we say, the show must go on. Even before we began canceling everything in the whole world, people in our community had already leapt into the Google sphere to find, in the words of Jeff Goldblum, a way. And they have. With Majesticpiece Theatre, we will endeavor to bring a live stream performance to our community each week until we are able to trod the boards of the Majestic once more. For more information on how to become involved in this digital Dionysian delight, visit majestic.org or our Facebook page. During these speeches, I always at some point say that you, the patrons, the donors, the actors, the musicians, and technicians, are majestic, meaning that the art that we render is born of your dedication and talent. Tonight, you will see that in perhaps its purest form with this performance of Orson Welles' radio play adaptation of Treasure Island, directed by Cherie Gullerud. The efforts of many staff and volunteers went into tonight's performance, but I'd like to thank Rachel Kohler. They have been the driving force in this testament to the fact that when presented with literally any problem, even a global catastrophe, theater folks will make it work. So, at this time, we please ask that you turn off all cell phones and please refrain from any flash photography of this performance. In the event of additional emergency, please take a moment to locate the exit nearest to you. Tonight's performance is one act, so we will not have an intermission. Thank you so much for your support of the Majestic Theatre, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Hello, my guppies, and welcome to Grandma Mermaid's Lair. I'm so excited that you've joined me and all my players in presenting this tale of high adventure and low moral fiber and extreme social distancing. Hopefully you were able to download some kind of fun musical soundtrack to increase and enhance your experience of this show. Now, please join me in watching these amazing people put on this great Robert Louis Stevenson adventure, Treasure Island.
Squire Trelawney, Dr. Livesley, and the rest of the gentlemen, having asked me to write down the whole particulars about Treasure Island, from the beginning to the end, except details of the silver treasure still believed to be buried there, I take up my pen in the year of grace 1783, and go back to that time 19 years ago, when my mother kept the Admiral Benbow Inn, and the leather-skinned old mariner with the saber scar first took up his lodging under our roof. I was 14, but I remember him as if it were yesterday.
15 men on a dead man's chest, yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
Jim, there's a man coming up the road. Go and see what he wants.
Drink and the devil's done for the rest, yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
He came plodding to the inn door, pushing his sea chest on a hand barrow. A tall, strong, weather-worn man, his scraggly pigtail falling over the shoulders of his soiled blue coat, his hands ragged and scarred, with dirty broken nails, and the sword cut across one cheek, a jagged, livid scar.
You! Open up in there! Now then, boy.
Yes, sir.
What do you call this place?
The Admiral Benbow Inn, sir.
Admiral Benbow, eh? Nice, lonely looking, pleasant situated place. Folks don't come here much, do they, boy? Not much company.
No, sir. More's the pity.
No? Well, then it's the berth for me. I'm a plain man. Rum and bacon eggs, all I need. All I want. And that clip up there for to watch for ships. I've a mind here to stay here a bit. Here, you, matey. You help me lift this chest, boy. It's heavy.
Yes, sir.
Call me Captain, boy. Captain.
Yes, Captain.
Just one thing more.
Yes, Captain.
You ain't seen him, have you?
No, sir. Who do you mean?
Along the road, maybe? You might have seen him somewheres. You can't tell. Let me know if you see him. A seafaring man.
Yes, sir.
With one leg.
Yes, sir.
Captain!
Yes, Captain.
Bring me a noggin of rum, boy.
And so he came to live under our roof. We never knew his name. We called him the Captain, and all day he hung around the cove or up on the cliffs with a brass telescope, staring out to the sea. All evening he sat in the corner of the parlor, next to the fire, and drank rum and water, very strong. And every day he would ask the same question.
Is it Jim? Any seafaring man along the road today?
No, Captain.
You haven't seen him, have you? Jim, there's a silver fourpenny for you at the beginning of every month. You keep your weather eye out for seafaring man with one leg. Let me know the moment you see him, won't you, Jim? A seafaring man, one leg.
Months went by. The captain bade fair to ruin us, for we stayed week after week, month after month.
And never a penny of money, Jim. Not a penny has he paid us since the day he came here. And me, a poor widow woman, him eating and drinking us dry.
Mother, why don't you just ask him to pay what he owes?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, Jim. I'm afraid to ask him. I'm afraid of the man. Now, if your father was still alive, he'd give him a talking to, he would.
In all that time, he never saw nor heard him open the great sea chest that was in his room. There were nights when he took a deal more rum and water than his head could carry. The captain had been living with us for almost a year when there occurred the first of the mysterious events that changed our lives. It was one January morning, very early, a pinching, frosty morning. The captain had risen earlier than usual and sat down on the beach with his telescope under his arm. My mother was upstairs, and I was setting the breakfast table for the captain's return, when the parlor door opened, and a stranger stepped in.
Sonny! Come here, Sonny! Is this table for my mate Bill?
I don't know, your mate Bill. I'm laying this for a man who stays in the house. We call him the Captain.
Well, me mate Bill will be called the Captain like as not. I will put it for argument like, if your captain's got a cut on one cheek, we'll put it like, you see, that cheek's the right one, eh? But of course, save me, there he is now. There's the old mate Bill. That's him with a spyglass under his arm. Bless his old heart, to be sure. You and me will just get back behind the door, Sonny. We'll give Bill a little surprise, we will, bless his heart, says I again.
15 men on a dead man's chest. Yo-ho-ho.
Hello, Bill. Come, Bill, you knows me. You know's an old shipmate, surely, Bill.
Black dog.
Black as ever was. Ah, Bill, we've seen a sight of times, us two.
So you've run me down. Here I am. Speak up. What is it you want?
Well, that's you, Bill, straight to the point of the dagger. Billy, I have a glass of rum from this dear child here, who I thinks is a fine lad, and we'll sit down if you please. Talk square like old shipmates. Sit down, Bill. And you, Sonny, get aft.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, none of your keyhole bacon, you hear?
For a while, I could hear nothing but a low gabbing. Suddenly, the voices started to grow higher.
No, no, no! And that's the end of it! If it comes to swing on from the gallows, swing all, says I!
Ha!
I saw Black Dog, streaming blood, run off down the road. The captain returned, alone.
Jim, give me some rum.
Captain, are you hurt?
I must get away from here. Get away, that's what. I must away from here. Oh!
What's happened, Jim? What's happened?
It's the captain, Mother.
The captain? Oh, dear me, what a disgrace. I've been afraid of something like this ever since he came to that house with that old chest of his.
I got the rum and tried to put it down his throat, but his teeth were tightly shut and his jaws were strong as iron. An hour later, our friend, Dr. Livesey, came.
Doctor, what shall we do?
Where is he wounded, Doctor?
Wounded? A fiddlestick's end. No more wounded than you or I. The man's had a stroke.
Oh, where's Black Dog?
Black Dog? There's no Black Dog. Just the Black Dog of despair on your back. You've been drinking rum, man, and you've had a stroke.
About noon the next day, I stopped at the captain's door with some medicines.
Who is it?
It's me, Jim.
Jim, come in, Jim.
He was lying very much as we had left him.
Jim, you're the only one here who's worth anything. Now, matey, did that doctor say how long I was to lie here in this old berth?
Why, a week at least.
Under a week? I can't do that. They'd have the black spot on me by then.
What's the black spot, Captain?
A summons of Flint's old crew. A summons, and Nemses gets it. Jim, it's lucky when they're dead.
So, a week went by, and then about 3 o'clock of a bitter, foggy, frosty afternoon, I saw someone slowly drawing near along the road. He was plainly blind, for he tapped before him with a stick. And he wore a great green shade over his eyes and nose, and he was hunched as if with age or weakness, and wore a huge, tattered old sea coat with a hood.
Kind Christian friends, take pity on a poor blind sailor who has lost the precious sight of his eyes in the greatest defence of his native country, England. Praise good King George. Where may he now be?
You are at the Admiral Benbow Inn, sailor.
I hear a voice, a young voice. It's here where I miss me deadlights. Will you give me your hand, my kind young friend, and lead me in to the captain?
I held out my hand, and a horrible, soft-spoken, eyeless creature gripped it in a moment as with a vice.
Now, boy, take me into the captain.
Sir, upon my word, I dare not.
You heard me. Take me in straight.
Yes, sir.
Now will you take me into the captain? Good.
Yes.
And when I'm in view, say to him, here's a friend for you, Bill Bones. If you don't, I'll twist your arm right out of your body, do you hear?
Yes, sir.
Cast your papa damn you. No march.
Here's a friend for you, Bill Bones.
Now, Bill, stay where you are. Business is business. Hold out your left hand, Bill. Boy, take his left hand by the wrist and bring it near to my right. Here's a little bit of paper for you, Bill Bones. Now, now, that's done. I'll be going. Goodbye, Bill. Goodbye.
Jim,
Yes, Captain?
what time is it, Jim?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. 6 hours. Pew, Black Dog, Long John Silver, the whole crew of them. Ah!
Captain? Captain! Captain! Captain!
The captain was dead, and there we were, my mother and I, alone at night in the house, with the dead captain's body on the parlor floor.
He owes us money, he does. A whole year and never a penny from him. And me, a poor widow.
But Mother, if Black Dog comes back, or the blind man...
Oh, Black Dog fiddlesticks. There's something in that old chest of his upstairs that's rightfully mine, and we'll have that chest open if we die for it.
Mother,
We have to get the key off him.
Look, Mother, look.
On the floor, close to the dead man's hand, there was a round little paper, blackened on one side.
The black spot.
I picked it up and found, written on the back,
You have till 10 tonight. 4 hours.
Now, Jim, find that key.
I felt in his pockets, one after another.
Perhaps it's round his neck. Tear open his shirt.
There, sure enough, hanging on a piece of string, we found the key. Then my mother lit a candle, and holding each other's hands, we went upstairs to his room.
Give me the key, Jim. Now then. Nothing in here. Not a thing of value, not a penny.
Mother, look.
There before us lay the last things in the chest. A bundle tied up in oilcloth looking like papers, and a canvas bag that gave forth at the touch the jingle of gold.
Do you see, Jim? I knew we'd find it. But I'll show these rogues that I'm an honest woman. I'll have me do another farthing over. Here, Jim, hold this bag.
The coins were of all countries and sizes, doubloons and louis d'or, and guineas and pieces of 8.
Mother, listen. Come, Mother, take it on and let's be gone.
No, I'll have me do, Jim, and no more. Let me count.
But Mother, you heard him. That was the blind man.
Oh dear, I'll take what I have so far. Leave the rest.
And I'll take this bundle of papers. Quick, Mother, quick, take my hand.
Next moment, we had opened the door and were in full retreat toward the village. We could see the lit torches coming towards us.
Run, Mother, run!
In the darkness, we managed to hide in the ditch before they saw us. A moment later, the house was surrounded.
Bill Bones, will you answer me? Down with the door then.
Aye!
In, you lubbers. Loot the house and find it.
Bill's dead.
Hey, Pew! Bill's dead.
Search him, you stinking lubbers. And the rest of you, aloft and get the chest.
Oh no.
We watched as our poor house was pulled apart, smashed. Whatever it is they were after, they did not find it.
There.
The money's there. That's all.
Jim, what is it, Jim? What are they after?
Mother, Flint's map.
Hey, Pew! That's the signal.
Hold on, you sneaks. It's in the house. You know it is. Should have me sword if I had me eyes.
The signal, Pew. The signal.
Ye dogs! You had your hands on hundreds, on thousands. Are you giving up now? You'd be as rich as kings if you could find it. You know it's there and you stand there skulking. There wasn't one of you there, face Bill, and I did it, a blind man. And I'm to lose my chance for you. I'm to be a poor, crawling beggar, sponging for rum when I might be rolling in a coach. If you had the pluck of a weevil in a sea biscuit among the lot of you.
That's the last signal. Someone's coming. I hear horses.
Get out! Scatter! Dirk! Dirk! Black Dog! Johnny! Dirk! You won't leave old Pew, mates! Not old Pew! Don't, Johnny! Black Dog, don't leave old Pew! Don't! Ah!
When they picked him up from where he lay, Pew was stone dead. The horsemen, as it turned out, were revenue officers with some news of trouble brewing, and they set forth that night in our direction. They took my mother to a neighbor's house.
Well, Hawkins, they got the money, you say. Well, what in fortune were they after? More money, I suppose.
No, Sergeant, not money. I think, in fact, sir, I believe I have what they wanted with me, here in my jacket pocket. And to tell you the truth, I should like to put it in safely.
To be sure, boy, quite right. I'll take it.
I thought perhaps Dr. Livesey...
What? Oh, yes, Dr. Livesey. Perfectly right, perfectly right. A gentleman and a magistrate. Let's go.
We rode hard all the day, till we came to Dr. Livesey's door, but learned he was dining with Squire Trelawney. When we arrived at the squire's house, he rose to meet us, very stately and condescending.
Come in, gentlemen.
Good evening, Squire, and good evening, Dr. Livesey.
Well, good evening to you, friend Jim. What good brings you here?
Then the officer stood up straight and told his story.
Sergeant, you're a very noble fellow, and this lad Hawkins is in a pickle, I perceive. Hawkins, ring that bell. The sergeant must have some ale.
And so, Jim, you have the thing that they were after, have you?
Yes, here it is, sir.
You've heard of this Captain Flint, I suppose, Squire?
Heard of him? Heard of him, you say? He was the bloodthirstiest buccaneer that ever sailed. He and his men were looting scallywags, thought to have left a fortune somewhere.
Suppose I have here in my pocket some clue to where Flint buried his treasure. Will that treasure amount to much?
Amount, sir? Amount? Well, it will amount to this. If we have the clue you speak of, I'll fit out a ship in Bristol Dock and take you and Hawkins here along. And I'll have that treasure if it takes a year.
Very well. Now, if Jim is agreeable, we'll open the packet. It's a chart, a map of an island with longitude and latitude, writing, tall tree, spyglass, bearing a point to north of northeast, Skeleton Island, southeast by east, 10 feet. Gold is here. The silver is buried in the North Cache.
Livesey, you'll give up this wretched medical practice at once. Tomorrow, I start for Bristol. In 3 weeks' time, 3 weeks, well, 2 weeks and 10 days, we'll have the best ship, sir, and the choicest crew in England. Hawkins shall come along as a cabin boy. Livesey as ship's doctor. I am admiral.
Well, I'll go with you, Squire, and so will Jim, and he'll be a credit to the undertaking. There is only one man I'm afraid of.
Who's that? Name the dog, sir.
You, sir, for you cannot hold your tongue.
It took longer than the squire imagined before we were ready for the sea. We waited for weeks. Then, one fine day, a letter came from the squire, from Bristol.
Dear Livesey, the ship is bought and fitted. She lies at anchor, ready for sea. It was the crew that delayed me till the most remarkable stroke of fortune brought me the very man that I required. I was standing on the dock when by the merest accident I fell in talk with him. He had hobbled down there that morning with a parrot on his shoulder to get a smell of salt, he said. Well, out of pure pity, I engaged him on the spot to be the ship's cook. Long John Silver, he is called, and he has lost a leg. Ooh. Well, sir, I thought I only found a cook, but it was a crew I discovered. Between Silver and myself, we got together in a few days a company of the toughest old salts imaginable. I declare we could fight a frigate. Seaward ho! Hang the treasure. It's the glory of the sea that has turned my head.
On the 16th of April, the schooner Hispaniola set sail from Bristol Harbour. I can remember it as if it were yesterday.
Me in my new blue cabin boy's clothes.
19 years ago.
Leaning over the rail, waving goodbye to my mother, doing my best not to cry. For at the last moment, it was sort of hard to leave her. It was the first time I'd been away from home. Then, a little before noon, Captain Smollett gave the order. The boat's swain sounded his pipe. Soon the sail began to draw, and the Hispaniola had begun her voyage to the Isle of Treasure. On the second day out, I made the acquaintance of our one-legged ship cook, Long John Silver.
Hi there, boy. Come in. Come into old John's galley.
To tell you the truth, at the very first mention of Long John Silver in the squire's letter, I had taken a fear in my mind that this might be the very one-legged sailor that I had watched for all those months at the Benbow Inn. But one look at him was enough. I'd seen Captain Bones and Black Dog and Blind Pew, and I knew what a buccaneer looked like, very different from this clean and pleasant-looking sea cook. His left leg was cut off at the hip, and under the left shoulder he carried a crutch, which he managed wonderfully, hopping about on it like a bird.
Raw, pieces of 8, pieces of 8, pieces of 8.
Are you Mr. Silver, sir?
That is my name, to be sure. Yes, me lad. And you're Hopkins, eh? Nobody's more welcome than you, me lad, to old John Scally. Sit down, hear the news. Your first trip to sea, Hopkins?
Yes, sir.
Well, well, there's a lot of things you're going to learn before this here voyage is over. What do you think, Hopkins? And if there's anything you want to know, Hopkins, you just come to old John Silver and ask him, see? He'll tell ya.
His galley was as clean as a new pin, the dishes hanging up burnished, and his parrot in a cage in one corner.
Here's Captain Flint. I call me parrot Captain Flint, yeah? The parrot, after the famous buccaneer.
Raw, pieces of 8.
Aye, she's a powerful old birdie, is Captain Flint. 200 years old if she's a day. And if anybody's seen more wickedness, it must be the devil himself. She sailed with Captain Flint aboard the Walrus, filled with gold. She's been at Madagascar and the Malabar and Suriname and Province and Portobello. To look at her, you think she was a baby, Hopkins, but you smelt powder, haven't you, Captain?
Stand by to go about.
And blood, eh, Captain?
Order midships. Adam, all hands. Raw.
And pieces of 8, eh, Captain?
Pieces of 8, pieces of 8, pieces of 8, pieces of 8.
At the end of the third week, we left Madeira behind us. The ship proved to be a good ship. The crew seemed to be capable seamen. There was only one man aboard who was not satisfied. That was the ship's master, Captain Smollett.
I'll speak plain. I don't like it. I don't like this cruise. I don't like the men. I don't like me officers. That's short and sweet.
But nobody paid much attention to him. Every man on board seemed well content. Double grog was served on the least excuse. There was always a barrel of apples for anyone to help himself to.
Never knew any good to come of it. Spoil folks' lands and you make devils of them. That's my belief. And we're not home again yet.
But good did come of that apple barrel. It was about the last day of our outward voyage. Sometime that night, or latest before noon of the morrow, we sighted the treasure island. Just after sundown, when all my work was over, I thought I should like an apple. I ran on deck, which was all forward, looking out for the island. Suddenly I heard voices on deck. I got into the apple barrel.
Okay. How long we gotta put up with
Rock!
this?
Rock!
Look here, barbecue. How long are we going to stand off and on like a blessed bumboat? Boy, thunder, I want to get into that cabin, I do. I want their pickles and one and that.
How long? By the powers, last moment I can manage, and that's how long. How many tall ships, think you, have I seen laid aboard, and how many brisk lads drying in the sun at the execution dock? And all for the same hurry and hurry and hurry. He's a first-rate able seaman, Captain Smollett. Sails the blessed ship for us. I know the sort of manner you are. You're never happy till you're drunk.
Easy, Long John.
I don't know where this treasure is, do I? No more do you, says you. And here's this squire and doctor with a map and such. Well, now I mean this squire and doctor shall find the treasure for us and help us get it on board. After that...
After that? What do we do with them, John Silver, after that?
Aye.
Well, what do you think we'd do with them? Put them ashore like castaways, or cut them down like a munch of pork? Duty is duty, mates. Wait. Wait is what I say. When the time comes, why, let it rip.
Land ho!
Is that land ho?
What's that?
What's that?
Land ho!
All right.
Land ho!
Away to the southwest of us, we sought Treasure Island. 10 minutes later, we were gathered in the cabin, the squire, Dr. Livesey, and the captain himself, and myself.
Now, Hawkins, you have something to say. Speak up.
I did as I was bid. I told them the whole story of Silver's conversation. When that was done, all three, one after another, and each with a bow, drank my good health. Then the squire rose.
Captain Smollett, you were right, and I was wrong. I've been a fool. I await your orders, sir.
This Silver is a remarkable man.
Here's the way I see it. We must go on, because we can't turn back. Now, what I propose is that we don't wait for them to surprise us, but that we bring them blows at our own time and when they least expect it. There must be faithful hands left aboard. Well, we must find out which ones are with us.
Jim here can help us more than anyone. The men are not shy with him, and Jim is a noticing lad.
Hawkins, I put prodigious faith in you.
In the meantime, talk as we pleased, there were only 7 out of 26 on whom we knew we could rely. And of these 7, I was a boy, so that the grown men on our side were 6 to Silver's 19. Next morning, there was not a breath of air moving, nor a sound, but that of the surf booming half a mile away along the beaches. A peculiar stagnant smell hung over the Hispaniola.
What the?
The heat was sweltering, and the men grumbled fiercely over their work. Mutiny hung over us like a thundercloud. Around noon, Captain Smollett came up on deck.
Me lads, we've had a hot day, and we're all tired and out of sorts. A quick turn ashore hurt nobody. So, you can take the gigs, and as many as please may go ashore for the afternoon.
Lower away!
Hi, wait a bit. Wait a bit, man. What's the hurry? What's the hurry?
John Silver suspected a trick. He hopped around the deck on his one leg.
What's the hurry? Just wait a bit, will you, men?
Soon the party was organized. 6 fellows were to stay on board, and 13, including Silver, began to embark. Suddenly, I had a mad notion to go ashore, too. In a jiffy, I slipped over the side of the Hispaniola and curled up in the foresheets of the nearest boat. No one took notice of me. The crews raced for the beaches. No sooner had we touched shore than I leaped out and plunged into the nearest thicket. Behind me, I could hear John Silver's voice.
Hi, Jim. Jim. Jimmy boy, hi. Jim.
John Silver was quick at his work. 2 faithful members of the crew were murdered on the island that afternoon, only an hour after we landed.
Ah!
The second killing I saw with my own eyes, from where I lay hidden among the trees.
Will you tell me, Robert, that you'll join us against Smollett and his mess of swabs?
Sure as God sees me, I'd sooner lose me hand than turn against me duty.
Mate, it's because I think gold dust of you. Gold dust.
John Silver, you're a mate of mine no more. If I die like a dog, I'll die in me duty. You've killed Alan, have you? Kill me too if you can, but I defies you.
He started to walk away.
Try this then.
Ah!
It struck him in the back and killed him, and Silver brought out a whistle. I didn't wait. I ran as I never ran before.
Darby McGraw! Woohoo! Darby McGraw!
I looked up the side of the hill.
Woohoo!
Far above me, I saw something leap behind the trunk of a tree. It seemed dark and shaggy. I turned and began to run. Suddenly, the thing appeared in front of me, and running forward threw itself on its knees before me, and held its clasped hands in supplication.
Oh!
Who are you?
I'm Paul Pengar, I am. I haven't spoke with a living soul these 3 years.
3 years? Were you shipwrecked?
No, mate. Marooned. 3 years here, living on nothing but goats and berries and oysters. Mate, my heart is sore for a Christian diet. You wouldn't happen to have a piece of cheese about you, would you? No? Oh, many's the night I've dreamed of cheese. Toasted mostly. And then I woke up, and here I was. Well, what do you call yourself, mate?
Jim.
Jim. Well, now, you wouldn't think I was rich to look at me, would you now, Jim?
Why, no, not in particular.
Ah, but I am, Jim. I'm rich. Oh, you, Jim, bless your stars. You'll be so glad you was the one who found me. Yes, you will.
Suddenly, his eye fell on the Hispaniola, lying far below us. Between it and the land was a jolly boat, with 5 men rowing towards shore. I could not tell if they were our men or the mutineers.
Oh, Jim, tell me true. That ain't Flint's ship, the Walrus?
It's not Flint's ship, and Flint is dead. There are some of Flint's hands aboard. Worse luck for the rest of us.
Oh, not a man with 1 leg?
Silver?
Oh, if you was in my long john, oh, I'm as good as pork, I know it. I was in Flint's ship with John Silver when Flint buried the treasure. He and 6 strong mariners. They was on shore nigh about a week, and then one day, here comes Flint back by himself, all alone in a little boat, and the 6, all dead and buried with the treasure. How he done it, not a man of us could figure out.
I told him the purpose of our voyage and the predicament in which we found ourselves.
Oh, that Long John, he's a bad 'un. You're all in a clove hitched knot then, ain't you? Well, you just put your trust in Ben Gunn. Ben Gunn's the man to help you. Now, you tell that to your squire, Jim. Ben Gunn's the man, that's what you say. And Ben Gunn, he has some ideas of his own. Oh, look at that.
Far below us, we saw a Union Jack fluttering in the air above the woods.
Oh,
Oh, there's your friend, sure enough.
More likely it's the mutineers.
Oh, no, mate. Silver'd fly the Jolly Roger. That's your friend, sure enough, in that building. It's the old stockade built years and years ago by Flint. Oh, what was that?
That's the ship's cannon. They're shooting at the stockade. Come on.
Oh, wait a minute, Jim, wait a minute. Ben Gunn is fly. Rum wouldn't bring me down there. But you remember, Jim, Ben Gunn's the man to help you. And when Ben Gunn is wanted, you know where to find him. Right where you found him today.
I started to run towards the flag.
Hey, Jim!
Yes, sir?
You won't forget that piece of cheese, will you? Oh.
It was less than a mile to the stockade. It was heavy running through the woods. Shooting was getting louder. Suddenly before me I saw a clearing, and the smoke of muskets fired nearby. Hey,
who goes there?
Hey, don't shoot. It's me.
Who's me?
Me, Jim Hawkins.
Oh, it's Jim. Jim's back. He's safe.
Hurrah! Hurrah!
Moments later, I was over the stockade among my friends, and soon afterwards the firing ceased. The mutineers were saving their powder. The stockade was a good place, with a paling 6 feet high all around it. We could have held it against a regiment of soldiers, and here Captain Smollett decided to stay and await our enemies' next move. I told Dr. Livesey and the squire about Ben Gunn.
Aye, flag of truce, flag of truce.
Who's that?
It's Silver. Keep indoors, men. 10 to 1, this is a trick. Who goes? Stand or we fire.
Flag of truce.
Doctor, watch on the lookout. Dr. Livesey, take to the north side if you please.
Yes, sir.
Jim, the east. Gray, the west. The watch below. All hands to load muskets. Lively, men, and careful. What do you want with your flag o' truce, Silver?
Captain Silver, sir, come to make terms.
Captain Silver, why you black-hearted scout?
Silence, sir, silence. If you wish to talk with me, you can come, and that's all. If there's any treachery, I'll be on your side, and the Lord help you.
A word from you is enough, Captain. I know a gentleman, and you may lay to that.
Well, you'd better sit down then.
Aye? You ain't gonna let me inside, Captain? It's a main cold morning to be sure to sit outside on sands. Aye, there's Jim. Top of the morning to you, Jim. Well, there you're all together like a happy little family in a manner of speaking.
If you have anything to say, my man, you'd better say it.
Right you were, Captain Smollett. Duty is duty to be sure. Well, here it is. We want the treasure and we'll have it. That's our point. You just as soon save your lives, I reckon, and that's yours. You have a map, haven't you?
That's as may be.
Well, you have, I know that. What I mean is, we want your map. You give us the chart to get the treasure by, and I'll give you my affidavit upon my word of honour to set you somewhere safe for sure.
Is that all you have to say?
Every last word by thunder. Refuse and you'd have seen the last of me, except for the barrel of my musket.
Very good. Now you'll hear me. If you come up one by one, unarmed, I'll engage to clap you all in irons and take you home to a fair trial in England. If you won't, as me name's Alexander Smollett and I've flown the Union Jack, you'll all see Davy Jones' locker. You can't find the treasure, you can't sail the ship, and you can't fight us. I stand here to tell you so. And that's the last good word you'll get from me. Now off with you. Go.
Ha! Laugh by thunder, just laugh. Before an hour's out, you'll laugh on the other side. Them that die will be the lucky ones.
minutes later, nothing remained of the attacking party but the 5 who had fallen, 4 on the inside and 1 on the outside of the palisade. The mutineers did not come back that night. They had got their rations, as the captain put it. The next day was sifting hot. After dinner, Dr. Livesey sent for me.
Jim, was it cheese you said Ben Gunn had a fancy for?
That's right, sir. Cheese.
Well, Jim, you just see the good that comes from being dainty in your food. You've seen my snuff box, haven't you? And you never saw me take snuff. The reason being that in my snuff box, I keep a piece of Parmesan cheese, made in Italy, you know. Very nutritious. Well, give this to Ben Gunn. Goodbye, lad.
Then he took up his hat and pistols, fastened his cutlass to his hip, put the map in his pocket, and set off briskly through the trees. That afternoon, the blockhouse being sifting hot and the little patch of sand inside the palisade ablaze with midday sun. So much blood around me, so many poor dead bodies lying around, and an idea came into my head. This was to hike back to where the ship was anchored and swim out under the cover of the night, cut the Hispaniola adrift, and let her go ashore wherever she felt. The mutineers, after their failure of the morning, would want to sail away if they could get to her. It was evening when I reached the east coast of the island. I could see the Hispaniola lying at anchor offshore, and there was the Jolly Roger, black flag of piracy, flying from the peak. As the last rays of daylight dwindled and disappeared, absolute darkness settled down on Treasure Island. I swam out to empty the ship to help her afloat to the other side of the island. The next night I was back on land. I was proud of myself, and with good reason. I hadn't hidden the Hispaniola. She drifted to the beach in the North Inlet, with no harm done, safe from the mutineers. I had no trouble finding the stockade, coming in from the shore, keeping close in shadow where the darkness was thickest. I crept into the blockhouse. I could see nothing. Doctor and the squire must have worried about me, being gone a day. I should lie down in my own place, I thought, and enjoy their faces when they found me in the morning. I felt for a place to lie down.
Pieces of 8, pieces of 8, pieces of 8.
What?
Bloody bird.
Who goes there? Who goes? Bring me a torch, Tom. Well, well. Shiver me timbers. Jim Hopkins dropping in like, eh? Quite a pleasant surprise for poor old John. I've always liked you, I have. Jim, for a lad of spirit. Picture of my own self when I was young and handsome. Always wanted you to join my camp, take your share and die a gentleman. And now, my young buck, you've got to. You can't go back to your own lot.
Where are they? Where are Smollett and Dr. Livesey?
Now, where do you think, son?
Have you killed them?
What do you think, young scrub?
I may be young, but I'm not a fool, and there's a thing or two I have to tell you. You lot were in a bad way. Ship lost, treasure lost, men lost, and if you want to know who did it, it was I.
What?
Jim?
I was in the apple barrel that night. We sighted land, and I heard you, John, and you, Dick Johnson and Hans, who's now at the bottom of the sea. And I told every word you said to the captain before the apple was out. And as for the Hispaniola, it was I who cut her cable, and it was I who brought her where you'll never see her more. Not one of you. I no more fear you than I fear a fly.
Oh, you don't
Show him the music.
And here goes, you sneaking son of a skunk.
Yeah. And so will I.
Who are you, Tom Morgan? Maybe if you thought you was captain here, perhaps.
Tom's right. Kill the boy.
Bring him up.
Kill him.
Did any of you gentlemen want to have it out with me? Him that wants it shall get it. You won't fight? Then by thunder you'll obey. I like that boy now. Never seen a better boy than that. He's more a man than any pair of rats of ye in this here house. What say I is this? Let me see him that will lay an hand on him. That's what I say, and you'll be hanging from the palisade. Seems you've a lot to say. Pop up and let me hear it, or lay to.
John?
What?
We got something for you, John.
Step up. I won't bite you. Hand it over, lubber. The black spot. I thought so. What's on it? Deposed. Deposed, that's it.
I think it's our time we had a change of leadership.
Very pretty wrote, to be sure. Like print, I swear. But it ain't one bit prettier than wrote this.
What's that?
And what does it look like, lads? A map. That's what it is, a map. A map of this here land. O'Flint's chart. Now, what do you say to that?
Yeah, that's Flint, sure enough.
That's it.
Yeah.
JF. And a clove hitch to it. So he done ever.
Silver's the man.
Yes, Silver!
Barbecue forever!
Yeah. He's got the best hair, too.
That was the end of the night's business. Only much later I woke up suddenly and felt someone wake me.
Jimmy boy.
Yes, Long John.
I saved your life tonight, Jim. Now you and me stick close, Jim. Back to back like a case of trouble. And talking of trouble, Jim, why don't those friends of yours leave that map behind when they cleared out of here? They did, though. I came in here this morning and found the place empty and a map lying there on the table. Well, I couldn't miss it. And there's something under that, good or bad.
The next morning we set out after the treasure.
Tall tree, spar-glass shoulder, bearing a point of north or northeast, Skeleton Island, east-southeast, and by east, 10 east.
Hey, over there, come quick.
Foot of a pine, half covered with green creeper, a human skeleton lay on the ground.
A skeleton, begone!
It lay perfectly straight, the feet pointing in one direction, the hands raised above its head like a diver's, pointing directly in the opposite.
It ain't natural, but you know, lads, I've a notion in me old numbskull. Now, here's the compass. There's the tip-top point of Skeleton Island. Stick out like a tooth. Just take a bearing, will you, along the line of them bones.
East, south, west, and by east.
I thought so. It's a pointer. Right up there's our line for the Pole Star and the Jolly Dollar. This is one of Flint's jokes and no mistake. Him and six was alone here. Alone killed them, every man. And this one he held up here and laid down by the compass, yeah? 6 they were and 6 we are, and bones is what they are now.
But I saw him dead, old Flint. Laid with penny pieces on his eyes.
Dead. Aye, sure enough, he's dead. But if ever spirit walked, it'd be Flint's. Dear heart, but he died bad, Flint.
Aye, that he did.
Aye, main hard it were. And the windy was open, and I hear that old song is coming out clear as hell. And the death all on the man already.
Listen.
15 men on a dead man's chest. Do you hear what I hear? Oh. That's Flint. The dad. Oh, Flint. Robbie McGraw.
Oh, Lord.
Robbie McGraw. Set after the rum.
They was his last words.
Robbie McGraw.
Old Flynn's last words above board.
Oh, Lord, let's make a run for it.
Shipmates. There's £750,000 not a quarter mile from here. Since when did a gentleman of fortune show his stern to that much dollar for a boozy old mariner with a blue mug and him dead too?
Belay there, John. Don't you cross a spirit.
Spirit? Well, maybe you know whose voice that was? It was like somebody else's. It was like by the powers, it's Ben Gunn.
Aye,
so it were. Ben Gunn it were.
Why, nobody minds Ben Gunn. Dead or alive, nobody minds him.
All right. Spyglass shoulder, bearing a point to the northeast, Skedding Island, southeast and by east, 10 feet.
Hey, mates, here's the tall tree.
The first of the tall trees was reached. My bearing proved the wrong one. So did the second, so the third.
Well, no, here it is. Hey, Long John, here it is.
Before us was a great excavation. In this hole was the shaft of a pit, broken in two. The boards of several packing cases strewn around, all branded with the same name, Walrus. The name of Flint's ship. The treasure had been found and rifled. The £700,000 were gone. We turned and saw above us on the edge of the pit Ben Gunn, Dr. Livesey, Gray and the Squire, all with muskets. Doctor's plan had worked. The pirates had fallen into a trap.
On Silver, you're a prodigious villain and an impostor, sir. But you saved this boy's life, and I'll not prosecute you. But all the dead men, sir, hang about your neck like millstones.
Thank you kindly, sir.
I dare you to thank me. It's a gross dereliction of my duty. Stand back.
It took us 3 days to move the treasure from Ben Gunn's cave on board ship. On the 8th day of December, the Hispaniola reached Bristol. 5 men, only of those who had sailed, returned with her.
Well, that was 19 years ago. All of us had an ample share of the treasure and used it, wisely or foolishly, according to our natures. Captain Smollett is now retired from the... As for Ben Gunn, he got £1,000, which he spent or lost in 19 days, for he was back begging for more on the 20th. Silver vanished on voyage one night off the coast of Mexico, and we heard no more of him. There's still more treasure, where Flint buried it, and certainly it shall lie there for all of me. Oxen and wain ropes would not bring me back again to that accursed island, and the worst dreams I ever have are when I hear the surf booming about its coast, or start upright in bed with the sharp voice of Captain Flint still ringing in my ears.
Arrr! Pieces of 8, 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 pieces of 8.
15 men on a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
Thank you, everyone, for attending our third Majesticpiece Theatre production of Treasure Island, written by Orson Welles and adapted and directed by Cherie. Cherie, you want to read off the cast list so everyone can take a bow?
I would love to. Wonderful job. Let's start with Team Union Jack. These are roughly in order of appearance. Did you like that? This is Lucinda. She loved it. Team Union Jack narrator Michael Young. You can applaud like this. Shake your hands. Hawkins George Garapi. Jim's mother Chris Alaback. Awesome. Dr. Livesey Michael Wren. Squire Trelawney George Ploutz. Sergeant Colin Salisbury, Captain Smollett Jimbo Ivy, Alan McKinley Smith, Robert Anais Main, and Ben Gunn Daniel Torrance. Now for Team Jolly Roger, Bill Bones Stephen Gullerud, Black Dog Craig Courier, Blind Pew Bob Greenwade, Long John Silver Andrew Lanahan, Flint the Parrot Galen Sinclair, Morgan Bob Otrembiak, sorry Bob, Mary Cliff Feldman, Dick and Dirk Johnson was John Myers, Hans Brandon Urie, and Johnny and the understudy for all was Thomas Garapi. Big applause for the cast, and much and many thanks to our sound person, Samson Lathram, and our sounds, and a huge shout out to Rachel Kohler, who is the showrunner for this. She's been in charge of flipping us on and off, and she is the education director for the Majestic Theatre. Now you can catch me on YouTube or Facebook, but Rachel, why don't you tell everyone what's coming up in the next weeks?
Yes, we're going to be doing this again next week. So stay tuned for audition information going up tonight as John Carone directs for us William Shakespeare's Cymbeline, which is a deep cut, and I'm really excited about it. So stay tuned for audition information, and you can audition for that show through 5 p.m. on Tuesday. Thank you all very much, and we'll do it again next weekend.
Hi, thank you.